everything on your
yes.
side? I just need to do mine, if that's all right. Okay, whenever you guys are ready, I'll go.
Okay. Yep, all good to go.
Good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon.
First question off the bat, how have your discussions today been?
They've been very, very good actually. We had excellent meetings with the Foreign Minister, excellent meeting with the President and with 10 from, or 11 from the Congress? Yes, it was just concluded.
What are sort of the highlights of the conversations?
Well, there's too many of them actually. I mean, it's a pretty exhausting day. And also we had a business meeting at lunchtime as well. So it's pretty heavy going. The highlights, well, they're all highlights actually. We didn't come here to waste time.
Any takeaways from your meetings so far in Argentina?
Well, I suppose sort of the overwhelming impression that this is a great idea, but we should be doing it earlier.
So it's been a few years since you were last here.
I was the last Foreign Minister here, act like that.
And that was nearly 2 decades ago?
Yeah.
So I guess why now? Or you've said it's too late anyway, but yeah.
Well, that's because I think we had an opportunity amongst what is now 600 million people to do better in terms of our own trade. And to do that, we've got to put the effort in. That's what this means.
And the Foreign Minister, we spoke to him a bit earlier, and he was saying how important it is from Argentina's perspective to trade with like-minded countries.
Yes.
Do you agree, and where are New Zealand and Argentina like-minded?
Well, on so many things. Look at it over the recent years, and even before the change of this present regime. We had so many parallel decisions from Antarctica, which we've got a great degree of partnership in, through other areas internationally that we can say, not by accident, we have a lot that is parallel in our thinking with them, and it makes our relationship therefore that much easier.
Would New Zealand support Argentina, who have expressed their wanting to join PIF as a dialogue partner? Would you support that?
Look, the first thing is we're part of the Pacific Islands Forum, and we think like that. We don't make our decision until we ask our colleagues or our cousins, what do you think? For us to jump in there and behave that way would show that we've learnt nothing. And the good thing about the New Zealand government right now, we are tuned to the thinking psychologically and historically and, dare I say it, genealogically with the Pacific. And so, to answer your question, I'd ask them first.
With New Zealand hosting PIF next year, are you inviting the leaders of the countries you're visiting this week to attend?
No, it's not my responsibility to do that either. It would be very unsound for me to go over Baron Wonga's head and start passing out invitations. I mean, I know how the invitation could be offered, but it should not be done by a person like the Foreign Minister of one country in PIF.
Do you think there should be more engagement and more, I guess, movement between, when it comes to partnership between South America and the Pacific region? Is there enough happening at the moment?
No. But I can say that there's not enough happening in every area when it comes to the Pacific. So it's almost 1/3 of the world's surface, depending where you look at it, and a whole lot more needs to be done. But, you know, we've been up to Scandinavia and we've got countries to join us in making contributions to Pacific resilience, so to speak. We've got other countries in mind as part of our Pacific plan, and we are confident that they will join in. We're going to make sure we ask them. So we're going to build, and I think the scene next year, as opposed to where things look this year, will be utterly different.
Why has there been that lack of engagement?
Well, I could point 1,000 things, but is that going to help? They just haven't realised how important it is part of the world is where we live.
Your meeting with the President ran over for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Obviously you had a strong rapport. What was that like?
Well, it's very nice of you to say so. Well, it was a very, very fascinating meeting, a study of, you know, why do governments do things, what motivates economic plans, going back to Adam Smith and Wealth of Nations and all sorts of thinking. So we didn't take a telephone full of foreign affairs notes and have the meeting. We just had a discussion, which went very, very well. Great. And he's come to New Zealand. First chance he gets.
Yeah. How, I guess, important or helpful is it that you are here right now with the crises, the conflict in the Middle East and that sort of thing? How helpful is it for New Zealand to be able to have these conversations with Latin American leaders at the moment?
Well, life goes on, that's the point. We're here with a cross-party delegation, we're all focused on the fact that New Zealand can do much better with a 600 million population plus, and that's what we're all here to do, cross-party lines. That's the good thing about this delegation. Hopefully, in other parts of the world, the conflagration will have those conflagrations shortened as fast as possible. That's where we are now. We've got to get on with it.
There's some talk in New Zealand, some criticism of obviously the US attacks on Iran. That there's issues about legality over this. Do you have a view on that at this stage?
Well, we've all got views, but this is a view I'd like to have international, highly trained, qualified legal minds decide, and not have a whole lot of people unqualified rushing in and giving their view. I'm prepared to wait for what their pronouncement is as to its legality. And I think it's a wise precaution for us to take. But having said that, can I just say that we have circumstances on the streets of New Zealand, the streets of Australia, dare I say it, the streets of Argentina, which are about the rule of law. For the rule of law to operate, it needs to be enforced. But here comes a national circumstance where Iran is concerned. And where is the enforcement? We see what's missing there. So let's have these fine legal minds make a decision that we can all support on the legality, rather than this tit-for-tat political argument we've got now, which I think minimises the tragedy for so many people.
And you're off to Uruguay tomorrow?
Yes.
Are there any sort of particular discussions you're looking forward to having there?
Well, they're a bit ahead of the eight ball, I suppose, and I suppose Argentina's sort of catching up with them, but, they want to be part of the World Trade Organization.
CP2.
The CP, yeah. And then the Comprehensive Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership, circa Penang, 2017, 2018. So they want to be part of that, and so we're looking forward to connecting up with them. But our relationship with them is quite advanced in this sense, and we'll have a chance to see how far we're going. And then on to Brazil after that, and on to Chile.
Do you have any sort of broad reflections on the changes you're seeing now compared to last time you were here in a foreign minister capacity?
Yes, but I can't mention it because it's to do with their domestic politics. And the last thing we do is poke our nose into other countries' politics.
Why Uruguay?
Because they asked us. Second, we've got some plans there we've had for some considerable time actually to do more business with them. It's a good question. You might say, why not somewhere else? But I suppose we only had so much time, so limited time. I can't help but emphasise to you, looking back on a long career, I was watching a situation 40 years ago, around about the time of the Allende regime being overturned in Chile, and it set back our relationship a long time, far too long, tragically. I just think we could have made more progress. And that's not criticising anybody else, I think it was just short. It's a bit like having a plane coming there and only 2 journalists on. If the rest of the New Zealand public don't understand how critical this is, well, why will the politicians get it? Even though they're meant to be leaders.
Well, what are the sort of key differences that you think might help you make more progress now in South America than what was in your way before?
There's a lot of things, but I think we're more motivated now to get out there and try and make this trade expansion work, and in the interest of both the economy we're talking about, that's our economy, and the economy we're talking to, that is with its Chile, with its Brazil. The second thing is, in the most conflicted geopolitical strategic environment that we've had since my lifetime, things are more uncertain now, so countries are looking more carefully to countries, big and small, with whom they can work. The options are getting fewer.
So even though New Zealand's a small country, it still, can have an impact in this discussion.
Well, I'm looking forward to the time when we can say that we're a bunch above our weight and it'll be true.
Just on Iran, would New Zealand join in with the action that's going on in the Middle East along
No.
with its... Why?
Well, that'll be a decision for the New Zealand people to make, not just parliamentarians, but for all of us to make. And I'm saying to you, the answer is no, we won't be engaged. I don't know why the questions come up. Well, I know, and you're talking to the wrong person. I was opposed to the engagement in 1991. You remember? After Kuwait. Because I didn't think that my country should be engaged all that distance away. Only one parliamentarian was opposed to it back then. You're looking at it. It's in the cabinet paper of the first cabinet meeting. Well, where I was told by the parliamentary cabinet secretary, we don't usually do that. To which I said to her, well, your job usually is just to write the notes, so how about writing that down?
Has New Zealand been approached by any of its partners to provide assistance in the Middle East?
Well, my answer may not be the total answer, but not to the best of my knowledge. All right? Thanks.
Thank
Great.
you.
Well, good, thank you.
This is after they went from $1 purchase to 34,000 to 34 million the other day.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, it was in the